Schulte and Willen for Dirt and Sprague on a football Friday, and I think Oregon football coach Dan Lanning got absolutely rocked. The 2024 College Football Award winners, most of them anyways, were announced yesterday. We do still have the Heisman Trophy ceremony coming up in New York this Saturday. Oregon's own Dylan Gabriel going to be there, however, not going to be winning. The betting odds show by far that it is going to be two-way star Travis Hunter from Colorado. More likely than not. I think it was like minus 15,000 last I looked. A couple of days ago, it was minus 10,000. So it's pretty deep.
He
odds.
won. It's over.
It's over.
I'll say this. It's impressive what he's doing because no one has ever done it to the extent that he has. And he won't do it in the NFL. I don't think that teams will allow him to do that. I still think that the Heisman should be about who is the most important player to their team. And to me, it's not Travis Hunter. It would be Jeanty, but Jeanty's not going to win.
No, and Ashton Jeanty, I mean, somebody on the YouTube text line puts it perfectly that Jeanty literally the whole team and made Boise State the college football playoff.
They have a good O-line.
They have a great O-line, yeah, but I would agree that 200-yard performances multiple times through the season, yeah, that will help you. Yep. An easier schedule will help you, but if they didn't have Ashton Jeanty, they would not be in the college football playoff. I absolutely agree. Somebody else that would not be anywhere that they are without a very important figure on their team, that would be the Ducks. And, of course, head coach Dan Lanning. In the midst of the college football award winners, of course, all the player awards given out, but the Home Depot Coach of the Year award is handed out as well. We heard earlier this week that Oregon coach Dan Lanning was one of the, I believe, 8 or 9 finalists for the Eddie Robinson Home Depot Coach of the Year award. 9. Thank you, Will. Kenny Dillingham from Arizona State also on that list, but that
would have been my vote.
That would have been your
vote. I would have voted for Dillingham.
And honestly, Swag,
I think that's fair.
I think that's I would agree with you guys, and I think that there's even more of an argument that he got screwed over Dan Lanning. But the winner, Curt Cignetti from Indiana, can we not? Like, I cannot stand that that's the choice that was made. I disagree with it completely. Both Kenny Dillingham and Dan Lanning have done way more. I mean, literally, Lanning just moved to the Big Ten. Just this season, Oregon is undefeated, their first season of 13-0 ever in program history. You beat Michigan, Michigan State, Ohio State, and Penn State in the same season, and you still finished as somebody who had almost no signature wins on their schedule. What am I looking at here? Michigan, 20-15, that's your best win? They lost to Ohio State. They didn't even make the Big Ten championship, and Dan Lanning is losing to Curt Cignetti? Are you freaking kidding me?
Well, by your argument, it's Dan Lanning's first year in the Big Ten. It's Curt Cignetti's first year at Indiana. It's not a program that has success in football ever. He went in, and he was loud, and he was boisterous, and it was, I win wherever I go. Google me. And he went in to the transfer portal, and he got a lot of players. He brought a lot of his JMU players over with him, but he also went out and he found a lot of the MAC guys. Curtis Rourke, his quarterback, who has been pretty darn good this season, was an Ohio legend. He was a MAC legend. And so he went out and he knew where to find a lot of small school guys that were going to get overlooked by Oregon, by Texas, by Georgia. And he brought them into Indiana. He said, we can build a winning culture here. And he went out and won every single game that was on his schedule except for the Ohio State game. Indiana has never had success like this. And when you find success and you build it to the point of, there were multiple teams, BYU at one point this year, they were undefeated. And look at what happened to them as the season went on. They fell off. Say what you will about Indiana, they didn't fall off. Now, do they have the easiest schedule probably of any team in the college football playoff? Yeah, they do. It's also not really their fault. You can only play who's ahead of you. And for the most part, aside from Ohio State, this Indiana team beat them. So, to me, I get why a lot of people voted for Curt Cignetti. I mean, people are chanting, smoke him through the filter because of him. They have towels at Indiana that they're waving around that say Cignetti, and they look like a Marlboro Red box. Like, he has built Indiana, and it's 1 year, right? So, to not be a hypocrite here, it's the same thing that I said with Dion. It's the same thing that I said with Norvell.
Okay.
Prove to me that you can do it before I start saying that you're a dynasty builder, right? But Indiana has invested the resources into football. They gave him a new contract. They gave him more money to get assistance. Indiana, for the first time ever, cares about something other than just college basketball. One, I think that's because they see how the landscape is changing, and they want to be able to have their foot in the door to say, no, you need to bring us into the Super League because the Super League is going to happen. And their way of doing that is showing, hey, we're a traditional basketball power and we're starting to care about football. But I get why Kenny Dillingham would get a vote. I get why Dan Lanning would get a vote. But I also get why Curt Cignetti was going to get a vote, and the media propelling behind him, the push that he got throughout the entire year, basically until the Ohio State game, which was their second to last game, third to last game,
Second to last before Purdue.
It's why he got the vote. It's why Travis Hunter won too. Is Travis Hunter the best defensive player in college football right now? No, he's not the best wide receiver either. But the media has been talking about him all year long, and there are people, let's call a spade, that don't watch college football that get votes. And so they're going to vote for the biggest media story.
This is exactly the way Dan Lanning wants it. He doesn't want to.
Right.
Yeah, we had the who cares line when they got to the number 1 ranking. This is perfect for him.
He likes being the underdog, is what you're saying.
It's just about us in the room and playing football. He has his eye on one prize, and that's it.
And
if he does it, then who cares if he ever wins any of those other awards?
It's a rallying cry for him.
I
When
get
Dylan
it.
Gabriel loses the Heisman,
he
he's
would have
gonna do
rather
the same
had
thing.
Tosh Lapoy win the Broyles Award or something like that.
Right.
He's living up the fact that Bryce Betcher won the Burlsworth Award. All of those sorts of things. Let's
Right.
celebrate those sorts of things.
I mean, I know that he doesn't care, but I guess I just attach it to the status that Oregon gets in the national media, and him winning that award makes
I don't think
makes
that
it
has
more
anything
important.
to do with it.
Okay.
Oregon's getting all,
I mean, they got the hardest road to the college football championship, but sure. Like I feel like that Oregon
That's
always
a formatting issue. That's not. Everybody's getting bent out of shape
it's
about
made
the
by
wrong things.
humans and by a committee.
It was made by the conference chairs. That's not the committee in the room.
You're right. Okay, that's a good point.
All their job is, and I will back Ward Manuel on this.
Okay.
We need to rank the 25 best teams.
Yeah.
1 to 25. Then the format is what Jerry, what
we've
set
decided
it up.
What we've decided.
So if they're going to go to 16 maybe in a couple of years, or if they just reseed it after the first round,
Mm-hmm.
I think it fixes the bulk of the problems.
And you said that, and honestly, I agree with this, Swag, that Kenny Dillingham would be a
The
much
job
better
he
choice.
did with
I do
what
agree
they
with that.
had
He got screwed
coming
even more than
back,
Lanning.
and also with a place that is supposed to, everybody's wondering, the big sleeping giant out west, and he finally tapped into it. He finally got excitement all over the place about the program.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way that he talks too, and how he treats the players, I think, is the most important thing. Like, he is notorious when guys transfer out of his program. We played
that
hypes
quote.
them up.
He's like, nope, you can keep playing here. I understand. He'll try to say, I think, this is a good opportunity here, but they understand the modern landscape of how this sport works, and they don't try to fight it.
Yep.
They still make their case to keep guys there and to be a part of it, but
his staff is also full of guys who love that area. They're all former, like his special teams coach is his former high school coach. Oh, by the way, he's from the Tempe area. I think their furthest away coach either played college at Arizona State or they grew up in the area. I think the furthest away one was like an hour or 2 hours, something like that, of like his main position coaches. So he's done a great job of building a program over there. And like I said, I can listen to an argument for Dan Lanning. I understand it. 13-0, yeah, I know this Oregon team was picked to be really good, but going 13-0 is still a big deal. You know what team was predicted to be really good this year? Florida State. Look what happened there. Ohio State. They were predicted to be really good. Couldn't even get to the Big Ten championship game. So it's impressive what he's done. Kenny Dillingham, picked to be last, and what he's built in that program over there, and I think he's going to have continued success because he's shown that he can have success in different programs. Yes, I think that there's an argument for him. I also think that there's an argument for Cignetti, and I'm not shocked that Cignetti won this because of the media backing and push that he had all year.
I get it, but just the wins that Kenny Dillingham, and this is even further than Dan Lanning getting screwed, in my opinion. It's, over 16 Utah at the time, beating a ranked Kansas State, beating a ranked BYU, and obviously beating Iowa State in the Big 12 championship. I just think that Curt Cignetti got vaulted because of being a media darling as opposed to actual results on the field. And yeah,
they only lost once.
There's
get it. Good results.
But Oregon beat everybody, and they beat much better teams, and Arizona beat much better teams throughout their season, and that's my only argument.